This is Dr. Steve Myers here with Brian to talk to him about his diabetes. We're here at the Weight Management Center, part of Tower Health in Pennsylvania, and at the Reading Hospital System. So, Brian, you just had an operation about 6 weeks ago.
Correct.
And why don't you tell us a little bit about your diabetes first, and then your weight, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So,
Right.
Tell me which operation you had and why.
Well, I had gastric bypass. Main reason I had it because I was on an insulin pump 24/7, round the clock, sleeping with the insulin going into me.
Yeah.
So,
And I think you told me that you were on 2.5 units an hour
correct.
each hour, plus you gave yourself boluses of insulin with meals. So,
Yeah, about 30 units every meal, 3 times a day on top of that.
right. So you add all that up. That's that's getting close to 80 units a day, maybe more sometimes. Well, that's 60. It's actually 90 plus, plus your insulin pump. So gosh,
Right.
that's way over 100 units a day.
And my A1Cs were still over 10 to 11, even with all that insulin. So,
Yeah. So you really weren't well controlled even with an insulin pump.
correct.
Sounds like, yeah. So how long have you had type 2 diabetes, Brian?
I was first diagnosed around 10 years ago. About 8 years ago, I went on insulin in the pill form, and then eventually I went on to needles, and then I went to an insulin pump, which was supposedly help control it better.
Yeah. And I think we had a conversation before your operation explaining that probably a gastric sleeve operation wouldn't be enough effectiveness for you to optimally improve your diabetes, but gastric bypass would be a better tool. And do you remember that conversation that we talked about?
Pretty much, my biggest part was my curbing my appetite.
Uh-huh.
And this is the main reason. It has curbed my appetite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't eat as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
And naturally, I've lost 32 pounds in the last 6 weeks.
Awesome.
And that's why my sugar, as of this morning's, was 107. It's been pretty well in the mid 100s.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere my highest is probably it's about 126.
Mm-hmm.
I've had in the last 6 weeks. So,
And how much insulin do you take now?
none.
Do you take any other diabetic medicines?
Nothing. No, not even. I'm even off the pills that I was taking for the A1Cs, the Genuvics,
Mm-hmm.
and the let's see, I forget the other name of the other one.
Yeah, I can't remember right now either,
Yeah.
Brian, so that's fine. But you're off of all diabetic medicines
Right.
now, right?
Yeah, just dieting, watching what I eat,
Mm-hmm.
watching my sugars and my.
So after your operation, how long was it before your sugars came down to normal?
Immediately, it was like after I left the hospital in 3 days, my sugars were. I checked it at home, and they were all down in the mid 100s. So no insulin after I left the hospital.
So you were off your insulin pump and no medications at that point. So,
Correct.
and you're just such a great example of what happens after gastric bypass for a person that's in that range between having diabetes from 5 years to 10 or 15 years. Usually gastric bypass will resolve that and bring your A1C back to normal and get you off your diabetic medicine. So you're a great example of that. And that doesn't happen without your cooperation too. You've done a good job doing the things we ask you to do, and you're just getting a great result. So I'm just really happy for you, Brian.
I tell my friends on Facebook that this is basically a cure for type 2 diabetes. If you're in a situation like mine, so to look into it and see you and see the hospital about having its weight loss done.
Yeah, well, I'm just really delighted you've done so well, and you're going to continue to lose a lot of weight, I'm sure, over the next several months. So I'm looking forward to how healthy you become over this time. So thanks, Brian, for being willing to share with everybody.
Well, thank you for what you've done for me.
My privilege.